Welcome to week 2 of the class. This week we're going to spend most of our time kind of developing questions, and I strongly encourage you to spend some of your time, at least a significant portion of your time actually, in the qualtrics system itself. Here you can play around with a number of different things as you begin to frame your questions. As you can see, I've logged into Qualtrics. I'm on the My Surveys page. You would actually begin with the Create Survey, and you'd go through the quick survey builder. But for the purposes of time, we're going to start with a pre-existing survey that I have here. This is a survey the center conducted last summer for Oxford Township. 202 respondents, and I'm going to jump to the edit, so we'll get right into this and give you a look at what these surveys look like. What you'll see is a series of questions. You see Q2, 3, 4, 5, 6, goes all the way down. It's just a big scrolling screen. I'll call your attention up here to a couple of different areas. Look and feel. This is where you can experiment with the format. Qualtrics provides a number of interesting templates. You can see here. You can actually click on and preview them. It'll show you what they look like. You can change your fonts. You can change your colors. There are a number of things that you can do, and I encourage you to play around, experiment with that, with the cautionary note that you don't get too creative. We want this to be visually appealing, but we also want this to look very professional. You'll be doing this, in theory, on behalf of a community. You may want to play around with some of the options. This is in terms of settings and different things you can do. There's also a preview if you want to take a look at what your survey looks like. Let's jump down here to the text. And you see we have a box. In this case, it's highlighted yellow. It just means I'm on that particular. When I click on it, notice it turns away. This now becomes an editable document. So I can just click in anywhere I want, and I can actually type right in as if I was working in a Word document. You have the option of clicking on the rich content, and here it gives you a whole set of where you can align, very much like a word processor. In essence, that's what you're using. You're changing, again, all the different settings, the alignments, all those kinds of things which you should be familiar with for those of you who use Word, and you actually get a look at what it looks like. I'd like to point out over here on the right, notice this is a text graphic box, and I'll show you some examples here in a second of what those things mean as we go down. Just to point out, this initial page is one that you will need a similar one. Here's why I incorporate all my human subjects language, explain the purpose of the survey, limitations, who's getting the survey, the participant rights, who they contact, all those types of things which we spent learning about last week. Let me drop down to this next question. Actually, let me point this out first. This is called skip logic. If you notice, I have a thank you, but I prefer not to participate in this survey. I've given my respondents the chance to opt out. The skip logic here simply says if they choose this option, take them to the end of the survey. I'll give you another example of skip logic, but you might want to play around with some of the skip logic options. Think about it as if yes, you take them to one question. If no, maybe you take them to a different question. Pretty powerful tool here. Let's highlight this particular question. This is your basic multiple choice. In this case, I have 6 options. If you click on automatic choices, it doesn't work in this because I've already used the survey. But if you click on that, it'll give you a whole list of different types. You can reverse them, so instead of good to bad, you can have it go bad to good, those kinds of things. Single answer, in this case, you can only choose one of these, so I make sure it's clicked single answer. If I have a select all that apply, I'd want to choose multiple answer because that gives me the option to click more than one. Vertical horizontal, I tend to like the horizontal just because it shortens the space, but you can play with that. You see a layout in the vertical versus a layout in the horizontal. I'll also point out a forced response. You can require this question be answered. I would caution you to use that, or use that with caution. In other words, they can't go forward until they respond to that question. In our case, we're typically going to say you don't have to answer any all the questions, you can answer part of them. So you probably won't use that very much, but there are situations where you might want to use a forced response, require them to participate. Again, you can see another couple of these things. This is actually a text entry. I created 3 text entry boxes. Please identify 3 qualities that you like. It's in essence an open-ended question, and I allow them the space to simply type in. Same thing with the dislikes. Here's another example of a multiple choice. This question is a fun one. It's called a matrix table, and they're useful when you have the same question: how would you rate Oxford with respect to, and in this case I have 3, as a place to live, a place to raise a family, and a place to retire. And I use a standard Likert scale: excellent, good, fair, poor, to no opinion. So what it allows me to do is consolidate really 3 questions into one box, giving them all the same choices in terms of responses. So I have 3 statements and 5 scale points across the top here. Again, as I'm pointing out here, I'm changing the focus. I'm shifting from one set of questions to another, so I put a descriptor in. So my respondents know I've now transferred from, or shifted gears from some of my personal, how I feel about living, to specifically focusing on public safety issues. And you want to make sure you include these as you prepare and develop your own survey. A couple of more matrix choices. For those of you who did the example, or the example survey, this is a rank order. Make sure if you use rank order that you tell them drag up or down to reorder. They simply click on those items and move them to rearrange them. Kind of a nice little thing. Again, here's another skip logic example. In this case, in the past 12 months, have you contacted the police? If the answer is no, I want them to move further down into the survey. If it's yes, then I want them to indicate their level of satisfaction with their service. Again, same kind of thing here with respect to the fire department. This is called a drill down. If you are interested in doing a drill down here, I give them a series of choices, in fact years in which they were born. I had to upload a table. If you search through the Qualtrics information and search for drill down, it'll explain to you how you do that. This is what's called a slider, and as you can see, you can slide these scales across. Just another way of presenting a question that may be more a little interesting that you can do with an online survey. And basically that's an overview. I ended with an open-ended. You'll learn about open-ended, the benefits of open-ended. There's some advantages and some disadvantages. So I want to make sure, get this email off my screen. I apologize for that. But I encourage you to take some time, take a look at Qualtrics, play with it, set it up, create some questions, play with the different logics, look at the different look and feel, and begin the process of putting together your own survey. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to email me. Let me know if you're having problems. I'll be happy to help. Good luck and enjoy the week.